Okay, hello again, and I just made a video on how I go through the process of editing something like this, and it had like my random thoughts about what I would do, and I thought it was a really good video, but the audio wasn't on, which is terrible and kind of heartbreaking. So I'm gonna do it again, but it was an 18-minute video, and I'm gonna shorten it to maybe hopefully five. Okay. So what are the unique qualities of Northwestern and the specific undergraduate schools to which you are applying that make you want to attend the university, and what ways do you hope to take advantage of the qualities you have identified? Okay, basically this is a why essay. What's a fit between you and me? Our philosophies. What are we about? What do we represent? So you want to match that to Northwestern, but you want to be genuinely you too. So there's a big conundrum. And sometimes when people write why essays, it's different from the personal statement, because the personal statement is very much about you can be creative, you want to show your qualities, you want to show your strengths, you want to show your experiences, who you are, where you're going, where you came from, what you're going to do, all these connections, right? This one is also about connections too, but it's more specific. Unique qualities, that's one word. You can answer it one word. You have, your motto is this. Your motto is truth, Veritas, Harvard, UCLA, social justice, etc. So it's much more direct in that sense. Does it mean it's less creative? No, but it means it's more straightforward. So this also means you have to do a lot more research to truly understand what a school is. And by the way, there's no substitute for someone who's actually been there. So those are the best people to consult for a specific why essay. That doesn't mean that other people can't see the goods and the bads. It's just that you really have to do the research in order to jump off the page as someone who did the research. And that's the challenge of a why essay. It's the most time. It's one of the most time consuming. It could be because personal statement can be about anything, and this can be about specific things. Okay, so let's start with this. Okay, this the gasoline sample from the machine, the carcinogenic benzene, and it has already been removed by the catalyst, cited Professor Tobin J. Marks in Weinberg College. So as you read this, I noticed two things. One is that he uses excessively long sentences. You don't want to go above 30 to 35 words generally, because you can become very confusing. So for example, here, this first essay, this first sentence, it has two focuses. One is the machine. Two is Professor Tobin J. Marks and his interests. You have two things and another harmful substance as well. So you have a lot of stuff going on in there, and you want to simplify it by cutting it up into 2 or 3 sentences, or to cut out some concepts. Okay, that's up to you. Here it's just, again, excessively long. One of the simplest yet best measures. So he's very descriptive, which is positive in some senses, because you're showing, not telling. However, if it's excessively long, it puts the main point in the background. So here, what is the main point? Is it about preventing cancer? Is it about gasoline? Is it about the machine? Is it about the school? Is it about your interest? So you have to be clear about that. And the more you describe, the more it muddles up your main point. So you have to find a balance. Next, in a series of dreams, I am immersed in imagination about how basic yet groundbreaking inventions like the catalyst. It's a mouthful. That's the initial fascination that drew me to Weinberg. So cutting edge fusion of interdisciplinary research that can help people around the world step by step. That's a kind of a fluffy statement, because you can say that about any good university. And also, you talk about step by step. I made a note that was very vague. Not in the vague has a more negative connotation than I mean. Step by step, it has a lot of opportunity. So what steps are you talking about? You could be talking about the steps it takes to do this process of taking out the cancer cells, or the process of something, but you could relate it to anything. And I'll get back to that in a second, but that's an opportunity for expansion. And sometimes you want to expand in personal statements. Okay, now moving on. If the magical machine, so I have the comments on the right, you can look at that later. If the magical machine only represents part of the perfect combination in Weinberg, the special emphasis on being international minded through a generic another like complements it. Okay, that sounds good. It even has a little bit of sound, playing with sound. Gen, complement, international minded. So okay, anyways, Weinberg. So that E sound. Anyways, that's rhetoric, just fancy, stupid stuff. Despite my enthusiasm in chemistry research, I dedicate myself to the problems present in the world. All right, here's a jump in transitioning. The connection is problems present in the world. So chemistry, cancer, crisis, refugee crisis, Palestinian-Israeli conflict, presidential primaries, global, they're all related but tangentially. And also the jump was, it was too abrupt of a change. Can you think of a better connection? And the one that I came up with in the last video was the different departments. To talk about the different departments that do these kind of research and the specific professors and courses that might address these issues to kind of like cushion the transition into talking about these topics. So just jumping into it is kind of rough. Content-wise is okay. Technically, you can improve. Okay, so to max out my Northwestern's educational philosophy and quarter system is not that important. So UCLA is quarter, Berkeley is semester, almost most schools are semester. What difference does it make? It makes basically the difference is you have 10 weeks instead of a whole semester, which is like 15, 16 weeks. That means if you like a class, you can look for the same, in a course system, you can look for the same professor. If you don't like a class, it's going to end sooner. It doesn't make the school better or worse. So it's basically a moot issue. To fulfill my interest, I can definitely participate in minoring in international studies or political science. So now you're getting more specific. Arab League, Model UN, Stephen Colbert. Those are, or Colbert, if you guys watch Bill O'Reilly. Anyways, that's specific, that's nice. Can you find those things at other schools? If you can, they're not as specific, not as good. Stephen Colbert, can you find him at other schools? No, you can't. So what is his cultural legacy? That's something you want to address. And who continues to shed light on people through his inspiring shows. Good. As the first person from a Chinese family to attend an American college, I cannot wait to bring my unique culture and identity to you, become a Wildcat, and dedicate myself to the exuberant community. Okay, so here I say, Northwestern's educational philosophy facilitates me to get active again. How? What is their philosophy? If you know their philosophy, that's impressive. You can figure out how you fit into their philosophy, even better. If you can think of a thing you can do to fit into their educational philosophy, even better. So those are all things that you want to consider as you write this. Specificity, clarity, depth. Okay? So here I say be careful. I cannot wait to ignore this, become a wildcat. The reason so you haven't become a wildcat yet. You haven't been given an offer. Not to crush your dreams or hopes or anything like that. It's just you want to, you want to stay humble and you want to show that humility and you want to say something like, if I got in or if given the opportunity, something like that, because I don't know if the AOs would be offended, but it could sound pretentious, potentially, slightly. It depends on who reads it. So something to be careful about. There's always a human element to this, and that's the beauty of it. But that's also the subjectivity of it, and makes what is good and what is bad so difficult to determine. Overall, I think this is, from my perspective, pretty good for several reasons. It starts off with something specific and research oriented. And then it transitions to, research to academic interest to plans of philosophy, which he needs to address more deeply, to clubs and activities to alumni to excitement. Smooth, it's logical, it progresses, it develops. However, you can address the philosophy even more, make it more impressive, and you can also address the step-by-step process. We talked about expansion earlier. If you want more content, if you want more convincing, you can do that. That's an option though, because that's only an option because you only have so many words and you don't want to expand unnecessarily. Okay, so that's all for commentary on this particular essay. For more, come back and I'll do more. Okay, thank you for